If you want to understand the early internet, this is where you go. Before social media, before streaming, before the modern web, there was an underground world of bulletin boards. They were small online communities filled with text files. Nothing fancy, just guides, manifestos, rants, jokes, and everything in between. And when the bulletin board era disappeared, there was one person who decided to preserve it. This is the story of textfiles.com. If you've never heard of textfiles.com, go check it out, it's worth looking at. It's a massive digital attic created to preserve the earliest culture of the online life. I'm John Rue, let's talk about text files. If you were online before the modern web, chances are you remember bulletin boards. Or BBS, it's a bulletin board system. You dialed in with a modem, waited for a beep, and then you stepped into a local digital world. Every board had a folder full of text files. These things were everywhere. The 80s and the 90s internet were basically built on these files. Textfiles.com was created in 1998 by Jason Scott. He's an archivist and historian who saw that all of these text files were disappearing and going away forever. Thousands of bulletin board systems were being deleted. Hard drives were dying, the boards were shutting down, and a lot of that early internet culture was risking being lost forever. Now, you know me, I love the archive, lost media culture. It's something that I personally have contributed towards, so I've got a lot of love for this website and this concept. So thanks to Jason, he started collecting them, and then he started scanning them and uploading them. What started as a small project turned into a massive archive with tens of thousands of files. Most text files are simple. No graphics, no pictures, just raw words written by whoever happened to be at a keyboard. But these files covered every sort of subject you could ever imagine. There were stories, technical guides, game cheats, fan fiction, hacking lore, conspiracy collections, personal diaries, rants about school, lists of jokes, political essays. It was the entire early internet compressed into plain text. And not all of it aged well. A lot of those files were written by teenagers, so they were super edgy. Some were just ridiculous. Some were genius, brilliant. Some were nonsense, but all of them were a huge part of internet history. This is why the archive exists. To preserve the good, the weird, the embarrassing even. Textfiles.com organizes its files into categories. Some include underground, horror, computers, text adventures, fanzines, fantasy. Everything is sorted and searchable. The goal is to not glamorize the content. The goal is to preserve it exactly how it was. One of the most important things about textfiles.com is how it preserves the bulletin board culture itself. The way that it looks, the tone, the slang, the strange little communities that existed before online culture was even online culture. These files came from local boards. Some even only had a few dozen users maybe. Others were regional giants.
By the end of this decade, a majority of the population, or majority of the American workforce anyway, will have the opportunity to, at least some of the time, use modems and computers to do their work, white-collar work, and work at home, what they call telecommuting. And this does not seem that it's going to die out, but it's going to gradually increase in popularity. The complexities have to be addressed first.
How could we possibly expect more computers in homes than typewriters?
But almost none of them survived the transition that is what we know as the modern web. Without this archive, a huge part of internet history would just have gone away, deleted, finito, gone, adios. Think about it. Most of our lives, they're online now. We have everybody's I think you're required to have an email address to get a job even, which is kind of scary, but that's for another video. But the early internet was very fragile. People wrote stuff not even knowing that it would be history someday. People were making YouTube videos. They were not ashamed of themselves on camera because they didn't know that it would last forever or could last forever. Dear Internet, Darla broke up with me. What the frick? How to build pipe. Here are some positions in the bedroom that you might not know. There's some crazy shit on there, honestly. Like you can find cooking recipes or like the Karma Sutra or I don't know, all kinds of stuff. It was just people being themselves. Teenagers blowing off steam, talking about how school sucks. Hackers learning new tricks. Fans trading fan fiction. People sharing whatever they wanted. Textfiles.com is a time machine into that world. Raw and unfiltered internet. Textfiles.com was one of his earliest preservation projects. It remains one of the most focused and complete records of bulletin board system culture anywhere online. The archive also shows how information spread before the modern web. You would just download a text file written by a stranger, and knowledge essentially moved from bulletin board to bulletin board. People copied files, remixed them, updated them, and passed them along. It was a community without algorithms. A world built on curiosity and shared enthusiasm. Today you can browse text files from any internet browser on any device. There are tens of thousands of original files, exactly as they were. Even the spelling mistakes are preserved. If you want to understand the early internet, this is where you go. Because the truth is simple. If nobody saves this stuff, it disappears forever. That's why preservation projects are so important. And this archive makes sure that we don't lose the roots of internet culture. Textfiles.com is not just nostalgia. It is a digital preservation. It teaches us how communities formed long before likes, comments, metrics, all the analytics that come with websites today. It shows the wave of the first digital creators. People experimenting with identity, humor, rebellion, and creativity using nothing but text. It's the earliest record of how people behaved online, and is still growing. So if you want to explore the early online world, go to textfiles.com, start reading. It is weird and chaotic, to be honest, but that's just what it is, honest. And it's a perfect reminder of where the internet came from, where it started. Make sure to go check it out and make sure to subscribe if you want to keep seeing videos like this. As you know, I have my own preservation project where I'm taking old video games that maybe never got released and giving them the physical releases that they deserve. You can check it out on my website. I totally appreciate you watching and stay cool. Dear Internet,